Star Wars Visions is a project that I was really looking forward to when it was announced. The idea of an anime-styled Star Wars series sounded almost too good to be true, even if I would consider myself more of a casual anime fan. Something that I liked right off the bat was that it wasn't intended to really fit into any canon, which I thought was really smart, since they have more freedom to tell their own story the way they want. One of the biggest issues with a lot of Star Wars projects is that they have to keep in mind the events of the movies and other media surrounding it, which can restrict their creativity. Placing the series in a non-canon timeline is a great way to get around this. The series starts off with a good episode called The Duel. It's about a former Sith who helps defend a village from bandits. The episode looks great visually since it's mostly black and white, except for some certain objects that do have colors. This allows the colors to really pop out since they're so rare. The actual duel itself in the episode was also really entertaining. One thing that kind of threw me off was how the main villain of this episode had this really weird looking weapon that was essentially a staff with a bunch of lightsabers duct taped to it, and it could spin really fast. It's an interesting idea, but not really one I want to see again. Overall, the project got off to a pretty solid start with this episode. The series starts to go a bit downhill with the second episode, called Tatooine Rhapsody. It focuses on a former Jedi who is in a band, whose bandmate is wanted by Jabba. While the idea of following an in-universe band in Star Wars sounds fun to me, I think the way the episode did it was kind of lackluster since it wasn't that exciting. Something I did like in this episode, though, was seeing Boba Fett again. It's not the worst episode by any means, since the concept itself is pretty cool, but it's not that great either. The third episode, The Twins, isn't really something to write home about either. It is one of the worst ship designs I have ever seen in Star Wars, which is the ship with the two Star Destroyers connected to the laser. I'm legitimately shocked that a design this terrible actually made it into the episode. The story revolves around two twins who are on the dark side, and one of them is a change of heart, which creates the main conflict to the episode. Just like I said for the first episode, the duel in this one is also super engaging. The anime style that they were going for really helps make the duels much more epic. This one also does something that I want to see more of in Star Wars, which is that it takes place very far in the future. But overall, this third episode isn't that great. The next episode, called The Village Bride, actually has somewhat better quality compared to the previous two entries. It's about a village who's being bothered by a group of raiders, and one of the villagers has chosen to go in her father's place with the raiders so that they won't bother the villagers anymore. I can't quite put my finger on it, but I found the story in this episode to be better. I liked seeing how at the end of it, the main character helps fight against the raiders so the village can be in peace. The raiders use old battle droids, so it's fun seeing them again. Overall, there's not much else I can say with this episode. It's just fine, with nothing super bad or super good. Now this episode, The Ninth Jedi, is one that I really enjoy. It takes the idea I like about stuff taking place in the future and tells a great story with it. This episode is about a Jedi who is trying to revive the Jedi Order, but has to deal with Sith who are trying to stop his efforts. Now there are quite a few things I like in the episode. For starters, this episode has some good duels in it. Something else I like is seeing lightsabers, which have colors that are based on the user's connection to the Force. There's a fun speeder chase in this episode that is reminiscent of Return of the Jedi, but in an anime style. The story in the episode is also really engaging too, with many twists and turns. This is definitely one of the top 3 episodes in my opinion. The next episode, TOB1, isn't good at all. It's about a droid who dreams of being a Jedi. It reminds me of both Astro Boy and Mega Man. It's just kind of a mediocre concept with mediocre execution. There's not much else I can say about this. Now, the next episode, called The Elder, is also one of my favorites from the whole series. This one deals with the Jedi and his apprentice dealing with a supposed former Sith. It's a simple concept, but it's done so well. They did a great job making the Elder look creepy in a way that makes it obvious he's a dark side user. We also got to see his ship, which I'll admit had a pretty unique design, but sadly it blew up. Just like the other episodes with lightsaber duels, this one also excels at it. This is definitely the last episode in the show that I consider to be good, but man is it entertaining. The episode Lapin Ocho is pretty mid, to be honest. The rabbit girl was kind of off-putting the first time I saw her, as it doesn't really look like something that belongs in Star Wars. The story for this episode involves a family that has differing opinions on the Empire, and there's also a cool duel in this episode too. The episode Ekakiri is decent, but isn't a great way to end the show. They should have ended the season with something like The Duel at the Ninth Jedi to really leave the audience wanting more. The main story of the episode is about a Jedi that is trying to defeat a Sith that took over. The only thing about this episode that really interested me was the ending. Visions is far from a great show, but I still like it. While I really do not like how Disney has handled the Star Wars franchise as a whole, this is one of the exceptions that I actually do like. Even though I would only consider 3 of the episodes to be legitimately good, I can see what they were trying to do with it, and I'm excited to see how they expand on this in the next season. With everything considered, this was still a great idea. But what do you guys think about Visions? Do you like it or not? Let me know in the comments your thoughts. Feel free to like and subscribe, and may the Force be with you.